Sorry.
Tight schedule, audio medium.
All these things we are working with.
I'm so sorry, I choked.
Brian, choke less.
Exactly.
Do me a favor and either die or don't.
None of this in between shit.
I know. Don't give me this choking or I am in pain. No. Die or don't, you know? Hello, everybody, and welcome to Afterbite, a Vampire Diaries fancast. It's only 10 years too late. This is episode 20, folks. We've reached the big 2-0, and we have a banger of an episode here today because episode 17, Know Thy Enemy, and 18, The Last Dance, are both kind of fucking bops.
Yeah.
They kind of hit hard.
Yes.
They were like, we've been slacking off for a while now, so let's give you something to really enjoy for a second.
It's like they can't give us the good every time because then we'll just expect that from them. But if they just sprinkle it in here and there, we'll keep watching because we're fucking stupid. You know? We'll just eat it the fuck up. And that's all we need.
Yeah, and these are the two episodes I remember, like, vividly watching live. Mainly because my mom was upstairs, like, and I'm downstairs. And I'm screaming at the TV, and she goes, "Brian, shut the hell up!"
I love that energy.
I know, right? My mom hated Thursday nights when TVD was on.
So, let's get into episode 17, Know Thy Enemy. The description for this one is, Elena and Alaric lash out at John when Isabel's unexpected arrival leaves Jenna devastated. Stefan and Damon realize they have a new secret weapon.
And that secret weapon is their smolder.
It's not.
It's not.
Oh.
It's not. I hate to break it to you.
It's not.
No. Absolutely not.
They're just gonna charm Klaus away.
They cannot.
They don't have that much charm.
They really don't. They don't. I'm sorry.
Paul Wesley, how dare you?
Okay, I mean, I love Paul Wesley, but Klaus, man.
True.
He's a man on a fucking mission. You think some boyish charm and superhero hair is gonna get him out of that? No.
Yeah. True.
So this episode starts off with Jenna in pain. And it doesn't get better from here, folks.
Mm-mm.
If you remember last week, we left off with Isabel at the door of the Gilbert house. And
I mean, that's all gonna work out well, right?
Everything with Isabel always works out well, right?
I can't have both of you giving me this, oh yeah, this is gonna work out fine, right? Energy, because somebody else here needs to be like, no, it's not gonna work out okay. So Brian can give me that energy. I can't have that from you, Jordan. I need somebody on my side here.
All right, fine. I'll be the straight man. I'll continue to be the straight man.
Because clearly B and I are not delivering.
Listen. There's no follow-up to that. Just this podcast is not straight, and we do insist you remember that. Sorry. Okay, so Jenna's crying in like the first minute of this episode, and boy does it hurt. It hurts.
I'm sad. Does. I just want Jenna to be happy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's literally the note you wrote.
Just let Jenna be happy. Yeah, exactly. That is what we want for her.
Jenna writes 2020.
Yeah. Let's start this campaign now. Jenna, just let Jenna be happy 2020. I mean, every other year, fuck it. This year, though, 2020, this is her year.
I mean, if I'm thinking about it, right? I feel like no one on this show is ever 100% happy, you know? No one can actually stay happy. That's actually when the world is going wrong, that everyone is happy. So,
I mean, she's finally learning. The young Padawan is learning.
Yeah.
No one can be happy.
Everything sucks.
Yeah.
Everything sucks and the world is awful.
That's the premise of this entire show. Just like...
Exactly.
Don't expect for more happiness, because this is all you're gonna get. Take it while you can.
So, Jenna sees Isabel and figures out that Elena had been in contact with her and like knew all this stuff. And so she's like, fuck all y'all, I'm going to my room. So she does the very adult thing of running into her room, slamming the door, and
then
like,
sliding
yeah,
down
mood.
the back of the door.
The most CW thing in the first minute of
Really
the show.
is. These 2 episodes are very wild. And I love
I
them.
love it.
I also love
So-
how in this entire scenario that Jenna is one of the adults, but then she's just like, "Don't talk to me. I'm going to my room," and then just stays there the entire
I
night.
mean, I would react the exact same way.
Honestly, yeah. Like, this kick in the fucking stomach. I don't want it here. So
Plus, I think she was still drunk too. Like
like a
right.
little bit. Yeah, like a little bit. So here's hoping that she didn't have her hangover the next morning, except I think we all know that she probably did. So Jenna she's going to campus to stay there. She has her fucking thesis to write. She said, fuck all y'all, I'm getting my education no matter what. Fuck everybody else. So she leaves to go to campus to write her fucking thesis.
and we support that.
We do, actually. We support her education. So, at the Salvatore house, the boys learn that Jenna now knows, and then fucking John Gilbert's there. He's a fucking jackass. Who cares? The boys are color coordinating again this episode, and I really don't know how to feel about it. Do you think they
It's
planned
great.
that?
Oh, probably.
No, I don't think they planned that.
Are they
I
both
think-
just like the same level of emo?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think they both woke up, like saw each other, was like, "You have to change," and the other one was like,
No,
"No,
you
you
have
have
to
to
change."
change."
No,
And
Damon
that-
sent like a text like, "Hey, what color is today?"
Is it a Thursday? Okay, well, we're black. Like, y'all. Please. So John Gilbert's here and he's fucking shit up, and Elena's on a fucking warpath for him this week, which I am very thankful for. She's
100%.
like throwing out shit like, you know this is your fault, that Jenna's like upset and out of here, and he's like, yeah, I get it. And she's like, fuck you, John Gilbert, which again, we have to say, fuck you, John Gilbert.
Exactly.
It is obligatory. We do have to say it.
Let's all
do.
keep in mind that if anything ever happens to Jenna, it's John Gilbert's fault. No one else's fault. It's his fault.
Yes, it is.
It's 1000% John Gilbert's fault. Alaric arrives to try and like patch things up with Jenna. Does not work. By the way, I feel like we also do have to say this again at every Alaric appearance. Fuck Matt Davis.
Mhm.
Alaric, though, you're like chill. He
Mhm.
punches John in the face. Just fucking cold clocks him. So thank you,
Ugh.
Alaric, and fuck you, Matt Davis.
That punch though was so satisfying. The first time I saw it, I was like, "Finally, someone did it."
Yeah.
Very cathartic. Just very, like, I felt at peace after that punch.
Yeah, it's kind of like, oh, for so long I wanted to punch John Gilbert, and now I get to see another character do it. It's like I'm living vicariously through them.
I
Living
wish
the
it was
dream.
Elena though.
Honestly, yeah. If
Yep.
anybody deserves to kick the shit out of John Gilbert, it's Elena.
Yep.
So Caroline has more product placement. Just so much product placement.
Why is she the one that mainly gets all of the product placement? Now I'm thinking about it.
She
Because
gets a
Candace
lot of
King-
product placement.
Candace King knows how to sell.
She's
Now
like,
I
wait,
want to switch to AT&T just because of all this.
wait, she's like one of those infomercial people, you know, those commercials.
Yeah.
you see? And they're like, oh, here's this like the ShamWow guy. Here's this like thing. It can absorb all these things. Please buy it. That's Caroline. That's Candace King.
100%.
It really is.
Caroline Forbes knows how to sell a Ford
Oh gosh. I love that.
and use that "call Matt" button.
Call Matt. And I'm like, I half expected it to really fuck up. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I really
know.
expected that
Mine
to
does
fuck
not
up.
work like that. Mine says, "Sorry, I can't find that." I'm like, "Okay, great." So as I'm driving, I'm trying to call my mom,
Call mom.
and it's like, "Sorry."
Should we try and set off somebody's, like, should we try and make somebody call their mom right now? Because chances are somebody is listening to this and their phone's just like sitting nearby. Should we try and make Siri call mom?
We could do Siri
Hey
and
Siri,
Google.
call mom. Oh, my Siri went off. It called my mom! No!
Hey, Brian, get your mom on the podcast. It'd be fun.
What I'm thinking is, why would you do it when there's two other people who do not have any sort of affiliation with iPhones?
I forgot my haste. I thought because my phone was charging and like on low power mode, it wasn't going to do it. And lo and behold, technology has failed me.
Life finds a way.
The Siri uprising has begun. Oh my god, Siri, stop! I didn't even summon her that time.
No, but you did. You said the name. You said the cursed name.
You're supposed to say, hey, ... I almost did it again. That would have been. I have one brain cell.
Yeah, we know.
Oh.
We're aware. So, back at the Gilbert house, John has apparently invited Isabel in, which, does he have any fucking right to this house?
I don't get it.
He doesn't he? Because Jenna now has the house because that's where the kids
Grayson
are.
and Miranda.
The kids are there. Yeah, that's where the kids are. So Jenna would be the one who would be the owner of that house. Is it partially John Gilbert's because his brother was Grayson Gilbert? By the way, if we decided what dumb name Grayson Gilbert is, hey, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I love
think
how
we
they
talked
gave
about
him,
it before.
They named him Grayson, and like that's like the cool, like badass name. And then they're like, "Oh, we have a second son. What should we name him?"
John. After all of our crazy ancestors.
Like,
I mean, were they wrong?
and the first thing that comes to my mind when I think of Grayson is Grayson Chance. But does anyone remember who Grayson Chance is?
Paparazzi.
What?
He sang
the
like an
answer is-
acoustic version. He sang an acoustic version of Paparazzi, and he got on Ellen.
See, even the fact that I didn't know that, I just
Wait,
know his
what?
name.
Why do I have such weird like information in my head, but yet I can't remember how to drive? Like,
I don't know. I don't know.
I almost ran 3 stop signs today,
Oh, gosh.
but yet I
Don't
know who
admit
Grayson.
that. Don't admit crimes on this podcast.
Exactly. It could be used against you in the future.
I
Don't
stopped.
admit crimes. This is a crime-free zone.
Don't worry, I stopped and it was on back roads.
Crime-free zone. So, here's our one crime, though, that we are all guilty of. It's a hate crime against John Gilbert, because I do want him to get punched in the face again.
Yeah.
So,
Or his fingers chopped off.
Oh, yeah.
Again.
So, the gist of what Isabel says is that nobody knows who the fuck Klaus is or where the fuck he is.
That's
And
terrifying,
also,
though.
yes, true. Also, I just have a note here that the actress who plays Isabel, I don't like her voice right now because it sounds like she's always holding her breath. Does anybody else get that vibe?
Her
voice
voice
does sound a little weird.
Her voice makes these weird, like, prosodic, like, melodies where just, like, it feels like she's always at the end of a question. Like, she's always asking a question.
Isabel's voice, though, she does the thing where she always kind of like ends it like this, where she always lifts it up at the very end. Is it a question? Is it a statement? The world may never know.
You will never know.
So I just
we
don't like
definitely
her
will never
voice.
know.
It always sounds like she's holding her breath, and it just aggravates me for some reason.
Yeah.
Cut to Bonnie and Jeremy and Damon are now like a squad for some reason. What are we calling this squad of Bonnie, Jeremy, and Damon?
Bonnie and
Bonnie
the boys.
Bennett and the 2 idiots.
Bonnie and her boys.
I mean, Bonnie's boys. I mean, are we wrong though?
No.
No, it's Bonnie's boys.
We're not. So
We're
it's Bonnie and her
absolutely
boys.
correct.
So Bonnie and her boys are at the Martins' apartment where Luca's body's just like there. Casually.
The landlord hasn't checked up on this place in a couple of days. Well, it's actually been a day.
Yeah, it's been one whole day, but like, damn.
But also, they don't move it. They're just like, all right.
Well,
next?
David
Well, I think
drags it off to the side. It's fine.
I think he feng shui's the apartment again.
Yeah, he's like, the vibes in here a little off. Let me pull this to the center of the room. It makes a nice centerpiece like I have in my murder basement back home. See, it all ties together. It's all about letting the energy move around the space, you
The
know?
dead energy, right?
Exactly. He's a vampire. He loves that dead
Ba-dum-ts.
energy. Go, give us nothing.
I love
So
that.
Bonnie gets an upgrade in the form of like a bunch of grimoires. She has all
Yeah.
these now. Bennett Witch Flex Tape just got an upgrade because now it is back and beefier and better than ever.
It's about to get another upgrade too.
It's about to get another major upgrade, but this is the first of 2 upgrades.
It's what she deserves.
It is what she deserves. Then we cut to Isabel has a new mansion on the outskirts of town. It's again the nicest foreclosure in town. And Isabel meets up with Catherine.
Are we shocked that they were working together?
No,
but
because I was just like, I was always sus of Isabella because I was like, did she turn back on her humanity? Like, why all of a sudden does she like care about her daughter? You know? So like, I was always on the sus. I was like, what is Isabel up to? I know she's not being genuine here. So,
Well,
but
I mean,
like,
I think Isabel was being genuine because they did reveal earlier that like the reason they killed all the tomb vampires and like did all of that was to keep Klaus from them finding out that Catherine was in the tomb, and then Klaus coming to Mystic Falls and being like, "Oh shit, where's Catherine?" And then being like, "Oh shit, doppelganger." So like there kind of was like that.
no, but here's the
care.
thing. Here's the thing. I always, similar to Catherine, how I feel about Catherine, I always have in the back of my mind, these two always have another plan up their sleeves. There's never like actually one go with them. They're always trying to like trick people and trying to kind of um be like mysterious and like just tricking people and always having something up their sleeves. So whenever Isabel comes into the picture, I'm like, I don't believe one word that's coming out of your mouth because there's always another goal with you.
I mean, she did learn from the best
valid.
though. She did learn from Catherine.
That's also fair. Hey, did anybody else get like a weird little bit of an almost gay vibe between those two?
Yeah.
Because it
They're
was like a little
related.
bit of a vibe. I know, but like, and so it's awkward and bad, but like, did anybody else like feel awkward by that energy they were bringing?
Yeah.
No,
It was the way they were sipping the blood.
It was like, I don't know if that's just, it's definitely a fault of how we view relationships through media and how TVD has trained, like, how a TVD relationship works. But I was like, this is a weird vibe and a weird energy they're bringing.
I feel like I'm the only one who did not see it.
It's okay. Well, hey, viewers, loyal listeners of this podcast who put up with us for some godforsaken reason, did anybody else get a little bit of a gay vibe?
No.
I'm asking, Brian, I'm not asking you. I'm asking our
Oh.
loyal listeners. So, like, add us on Twitter, @AfterbitePod, and let me know, did anybody else, like, get a weird vibe?
Like initially I didn't, right? But like now that B is bringing it up, I can see it.
It was
What are
just
your
a weird
thoughts? Please
vibe.
call in 1-800-AFTERBITE.
No, we have a place where you can
Again,
leave
Brian,
voice
that's not
messages.
you. If you're gonna use the fun goof of we have representatives standing by, it's anchor.fm/afterbite.
Exactly.
You can't just say bullshit phone lines, dude. Just, if you're gonna direct them to our call-in line, direct them correctly.
Legitimately forgot about that.
Anchor.fm/afterbite. Come on, Brian. If you're gonna goof responsibly.
Listen, I can remember Grace and Chance, but I can't remember what we do in this podcast.
It's because you're never here and you don't listen to our podcast. So, anyway, Brian's faults aside. Okay, I didn't mean to hurt you with my words. I didn't know they were that bad.
My AirPod case shut on my finger for some reason.
Okay. It's revealed here, though, at the mansion that Isabel does know Klaus. Like, and knows, in fact, where he is and is trying to get him the doppelganger, sorry, not the doppelganger, trying to get him Catherine and the Moonstone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Catherine doesn't know that, but she does know the Moonstone and the doppelganger part. So,
Yeah, how she plays it off is like, I'm working on a deal to get you free from Klaus, and it's like, you really think Klaus is gonna let her go that easy?
Yeah. Also, there was like this whole thing with Catherine kind of explaining what she knows, and I think that what really intrigued me here was that there were like so many like secrets like going on within this one episode, where you had like Isabel like secretly plotting with Catherine, but also you'll find that later she's secretly plotting with Klaus as well, right? And then you have
Mhm.
Bonnie over here with her and her boys, and they're secretly trying to find this place where all these witches have been burned so that Bonnie can have enough energy to kill Klaus. And then,
Hey, Jordan.
yeah,
Klaus.
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 Ah, the
Listen,
Santa Claus.
I don't think I will ever get it. Klaus.
I'm gonna make sure
Please.
you do. I'll keep correcting you until you do. Anyway, continue.
So you have these two, and then it's just so much like secrets going. And then you also have well, this isn't a secret, but then you have Jenna getting the revelation of Isabel still being alive. So there's like so much like secret plotting going on, and I feel like this entire episode is like really good just because you're just trying to see which one is actually going to come to fruition, like which one is actually going to go the smoothest and like actually work out.
The answer is none of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's so many secrets built upon secrets that none of them are going to work. So we cut back to the Salvatore house where Damon and Stefan are fully accepting their role as vampire bodyguards.
I mean, meh. She's not paying them, but like,
That is what their
They
role.
are.
I feel like
they
that's.
are their vampire
But isn't
bodyguards.
that always their role? That's their constant role throughout this entire series. I feel like.
Pretty much, yeah. Now they're
Yeah.
just saying it though. So, there's also like this is actually the first time that they've done the clever camera work to make Catherine appear in the same shot as Elena, seeing both of their faces at once. And I do just want to point that out. We love that clever camera work.
honestly,
A good
this is
little
like,
composite. Love that for them.
it looked way better than when like Elena and Catherine like first like came face to face. Like it looked less green screeny, and I don't know how they did it, but it looked great.
Hey Brian, do you want to know the secret of how they did it?
I know how they did it. They just
They left
had-
the camera in the same place, and then they just
yeah.
cut in the middle of where they
Yeah.
were.
I can do
Yeah,
that
but
on Final Cut Pro.
It's
Also,
After Effects
valid.
working hard.
It's not even After Effects, it's just fucking slice, crop,
Yeah, it's just
down
a
the
video
middle.
editor.
But
Like,
it
literally
looks good
anything.
at least.
It did. It
Looks
looked very
good.
nice. I just wanted to say that they did a good one. They did a good thing.
They make Elena and Catherine look amazing as always.
True.
Mhm.
So then we go to the Lockwood Manor, where there is a luncheon of like fucking like scholarship money being handed out or some weird shit. Anyway,
I mean, why not?
Mayor Lockwood. By the way, in case you guys forgot, the original Mayor Lockwood was the husband Lockwood. Now it has just like Highlandered over to Carol Lockwood, who is now the mayor. In case you forgot that democracy is dead, here's a good reminder.
I remember when this was like airing, and that was like my one thing. I was like, wait, so it just went down to her? Because I remember them saying like she was going to take over as interim mayor, and then when the election comes up, she'll be running. But I was like, did they ever do the election?
They have not yet. It doesn't come until much later. So at this Lockwood, with Mayor Lockwood is chatting with Sheriff Forbes, and Sheriff Forbes says, or Mayor Lockwood asks, like, "Oh, was it vampires?" And Sheriff Forbes says the smartest thing she said all day. With, "I'm starting to assume the answer to that question is always yes."
It's always vampires. Just assume the worst.
There's
exactly.
also a line in here where Mayor Lockwood just asks about Tyler, and it's like, oh, like is Tyler doing okay? And then she says something along the lines of, oh yeah, he left me a letter saying he needed to figure some stuff out, but I haven't heard from him. And I'm over here like, he left a
He's
letter
in high
saying
school.
exactly. Why are the cops not being involved? Like this should be like a missing persons case.
Exactly. This should be a fucking kidnapping. He's under, like, dude.
like
Call up Jules.
a minor runs away and everyone's just like, oh yeah, he isn't here right now. He needed to figure some stuff out. As if he's an adult and can do that.
He needed
I
some
think it's
time
because
for himself, but did he?
dead
No.
parents gives you a lot of leeway to do things.
And
Yeah,
what if
but
his parents is alive? She's still there.
I mean, you know what I mean? A dead parent or dead parents.
But he like didn't give any instructions on where he was, how to contact him. Like that's red flags. That's when you call the cops.
Yeah.
Eh.
No, it's just dumb.
Nah.
Okay, Brian, you can't just This is
Yeah.
serious shit, Brian.
There's serious things going on.
There's some shit going down, Brian. So, then we cut to Bonnie's boys. They are in the forest where there is a mysterious mansion. You'll love to see it. It's a witch house where a bunch of witches were killed. Damon tries to walk in. They do not like him. So he's just gonna go
Amazing.
stand out front, y'all. He's chill, though.
I will admit though, I loved how the witches have the power to like remove the power from remove the spell in his daylight ring. Like, amazing. Like, the witches basically vibe checked Damon and they're like, instantly they're like, get out.
They're like, not in this house? This house? This is literally our house. We did die here, so fuck you. He's just like, don't worry guys, I'm just gonna go stand outside then, I guess.
Mm.
So, we cut back to the Salvatore house, where Catherine is creeping and crawling all over the place looking for the moonstone. She didn't find the moonstone, she did find some old cigars and, like, some cash.
Iconic, honestly. And she put it in her bra too, like the best.
She had pockets.
Did she?
I think she did.
I could have sworn she put it in her bra.
Oh no, she absolutely put it in her bra, but she like had pockets. The option was there, you know?
But no.
Like,
Catherine Pierce was like, bra money.
like, yo, putting money in your bra is a real like toss up here because I did once put a $10 bill in my bra. Could never find that $10 bill again. All I could find was a 5. So I'm just saying, shit just goes
Did your
missing
titties
sometimes.
break the 10?
Broke the 10. I think they did. I think I got robbed by my own boobs. Which this is not the first time I've had this feeling, but ouch, man, doesn't it kind of hurt a bit?
Have you ever been robbed by your titties? Please at Anchor FM.
No, you almost got it. Anchor.fm/Afterbite.
I was close.
You're getting there.
I'll goof soon, I promise.
So, in the Salvatore house, Catherine gets her hands dirty while she's like rooting up the chimney for the moonstone. Which she is giving Damon a lot more credit than I think he's due, considering she goes to the bathroom to wash her hands, and in the soap dish, it's like a chalice full of soap.
Yeah.
She
I want
finds
that soap dish.
in that soap dish, she finds the moonstone, just like under some soap.
Why would he? I'm sorry, I have to ask. What made him think that was a good idea?
He doesn't think other people wash their hands or their face. Just because he never touches it, he's like, oh, this is the perfect hiding spot.
I mean, but you gotta admit though, like at first glance, even Catherine didn't even realize it until she was like, wait a minute. At first glance, like if you're looking around the room, like you're not gonna look for a moonstone in a soap dish. Like you're gonna expect it to be like...
Why would you just not keep it on your person? Like, if you leave the house, right, and you leave Catherine behind, and you have it in this place that's just a soap dish that she might be able to find, why would you just not leave with it? Instead of taking the chance of her washing her hands and finding it. Because that was pretty simple.
Yeah.
Okay, fair. I was like, I remember thinking, I was like, when I first watched this, I was like, that is the stupidest place to hide it, but like, at the same time, clever?
It's clever, but is it a good place to hide? No.
I mean, yeah.
So we cut to a street where Alaric and Isabel have like a moment where Isabel like apologizes for what she did. She's like, I did always love you. Anyway, she looks at somebody behind Alaric and says, you can take him now. and Alaric gets witch roofied.
Boom.
He
Even
just
I'll
down.
admit, like why though? What is the reason? We will find out later.
That's a secret Muscatool. So back at the witch mansion, Jeremy and Bonnie have like a moment, as they
So many
do.
moments.
They do have so many good moments.
Mhm.
And Bonnie gets on the trail of some delicious witchy vibes. She leads them down to the basement, where she has apparently a deeply spiritual and moving experience.
We've all had a
she
deeply moving spiritual experience in a basement. I mean, come on, who hasn't?
Exactly, we've all been there.
Mhm.
Maybe most of us were there because of hallucinogenic drugs, but some of us are just there because we're Bennett witches and, you know, their ancestry is just rife with magic and mystery.
Yeah.
So Bonnie gets another upgrade because she has a whole bunch of witch voodoo flowing through her veins.
She had enough experience points to level up.
It was so
Exactly.
painful to hear her scream like that.
Oh yeah, she was like
I know,
screaming and
though.
crying, and you're like, ugh.
It was very like creepy with all like the witch voices. Like I didn't remember that, but like watching it again and I was like, oh god.
Yeah, horrifying as
Mhm.
always. So, back at the Lockwood Mansion for lunch, Isabel shows up. She kills John and pushes him down the stairs to get everybody out of the main room, while Elena is up at the front of the room trying to like accept a check for her mom's scholarship fund. And so when everybody leaves the room, Catherine comes over and she's like, "Hey, love your dress. Mind if I borrow it?" Bops Elena out of there. Elena and Isabel yeet themselves out of there, and Catherine yeets Stefan into some bushes. And oops, murders occur, and oops, they lost track of Elena. Good job, boys.
We can now add to the kidnapped Elena counter.
Oh, yeah, we
yes,
can.
let me pull that up. Let's add to that right
Kidnapped
now.
by her own damn mother.
Yep.
My one question is like, her and Elena switching outfits. Catherine was wearing skinny jeans. How did that
Again, with pockets.
with pockets? But like that switcheroo and was very like quick.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Vampire.
she's a vampire.
Oh, that's true. Okay, I forgot that Catherine is a vampire because.
So cut back to the witch mansion where it gets very spooky. And Bonnie's having a no good, very bad day with all of the witchy shit going on. Cut back another quick cut back to the Lockwood Mansion, where Damon is called in to deal with John Gilbert, and also Matt's back.
Yay!
Also, he gets fucking bodied against a police car by Sheriff Forbes because he's like acting out.
I mean, like, come on, like, did Matt really expect like he could take down Sheriff Forbes? Like, Matt, you might have those pretty
I don't know
muscles.
what he was thinking.
I do think Matt thought he could do that, and here's why. It's because Matt
Teenage boy confidence.
Exactly. He has that teenage boy confidence. He's also an athlete. And he's like, oh,
He
like
has abs.
he's like, I'm an athlete. I'm strong. I can do this. And in reality, no, you can't do that. She's a sheriff, Matt.
Yeah.
She's a sheriff.
She fucking bodies him against a police car, and it is my new religion. So, everybody catch me on Sundays watching this specific scene.
Please open your books to chapter 217.
We did religion jokes last week. We can't do it again
we
this
did.
week.
Damn it.
We did way too many last week and probably alienated a part of our audience. It's great. At the Salvatore house, Damon realizes that maybe his soap gambit did not pay off because it's no longer there. Good job, Damon. You fucked it real bad.
Yeah, you
and
fucked
he
up
did it
really
all without
bad.
wearing a shirt, and we have to thank him.
What
for
was the
that.
reason
I
for that? Why did he take off his shirt?
It's in his contract.
It's every 2 episodes. We need at least 5 minutes total of shirtless Damon screen time.
Yeah.
And so apparently this was just like a good chunk of it.
Yep, and I honestly, that's a good clause in the contract. A good clause in the contract. But
Okay, well that didn't work. So
it worked for me.
Well, okay. Brian, I think you might have to realize that your standards are pretty low.
I don't have any standards. Let's be real here.
That's fair. Anyway, Damon takes off his shirt for no fucking reason, but that's fine.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not fine. I've just accepted my grim fate. We cut to Catherine in Isabel's mansion. She gives a call to Isabel, and she's like, "Hey, where are you? What's up?" And Isabel reveals that she was working with Klaus the whole time, and that Klaus wanted the Moonstone, and he wanted you.
Dun dun dun.
And then Catherine looks to her left, sees some witch guy. Which, by the way, I do have to mention this.
He's white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that shouldn't be as big of a win as it is, but it is. and nobody called him a fucking warlock, which is the big win there. Nobody ever called him a warlock. They just called him a witch.
Thank God. That
big win.
I love witches are just witches is gender neutral now.
Let's be real here. That's what I said. Witches are gender neutral. So why? I don't get why we.
I thought you said gender neutral, and I was like, what does that mean?
Like, I don't understand what the point of warlock is. You know, it doesn't even sound nice. You know.
They picked it up. Evil. They picked it up off the ground and they dusted it off a little bit, and they were like, "Warlock, maybe we can use this." And then everybody looked at them and was like, "No, that's fucking stupid." And so they put it back down on the ground and kicked more dirt over it, and they're not going to use it again for a while.
Yeah.
So I don't remember the next time they use it.
It's in the originals, actually.
Of course it is. Always the originals.
So when I say they kick it down, they bury it. Yeah, exactly. They bury it pretty deep there. So, Catherine gets witch roofied by this dude named Maddox. R.I.P. Catherine gets got while Elena is in the car with Isabel.
Little mother-daughter family road trip.
Yeah, we love to see it. I mean, you love to see it now. It gets kind of horrifying later.
Yeah.
But you'll see. So we cut to Caroline's house where Matt is there waiting for Caroline to get home. And he's like, "Yeah, hey, I talked with your mom. She threatened to arrest me and then took me here to, like, chill the fuck out." Which is such a small town sheriff bullshit thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, here, sit in my house and calm down. Like, no, you're the fucking sheriff. Don't just, like, leave people in your house.
When this scene happened, I was like, Matt and Caroline better be sworn enemies or lovers by the end of this episode, because I'm tired of the back and forth. It's exhausting now. It was cute in the beginning. It was cute in the beginning. And now I'm exhausted. I'm tired of it.
Listen, I'm a sucker for tennis.
It's going to get much more tiring before it gets better.
Yeah.
Trust me when I say much more tiring. So, they're back together for now, question mark, maybe?
Well,
Matt's on the ropes here.
Matt's on the ropes, and he asks Caroline to compel him to forget. And then she does it, even though she doesn't want to. I felt so bad for Caroline in that moment.
Yeah.
Matt just, like, yells at her really aggressively.
And that's
knowing
what really...
as well that she's a vampire who can kick his ass.
But also, like, you could see, like, the tears, like, welling up in her eyes because she just really didn't want to do it, and he was forcing her to do it. And that's what really got me upset. The fact that, like, she genuinely just wanted them to be okay, and for him to accept her for who she was, and he was just like, "Nope, sorry, nope."
Also, like, I don't know how it works for men, but when I ask somebody to do something for me, yelling at them to do that usually not the best plan of attack there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure if it works differently for men, but
No. Some men, it does.
like, apparently, Maddie fucking Blue Eyes.
Like,
So
Matt was just kind of like a jerk, you know?
yeah, Matt's a dick,
Yeah.
and it's gonna get worse. So, let's take a look here where we at. Okay, the Salvatore boys go visit Isabel's mansion. And Damon does the most bitch ass little look around. Like, he just like glances in the other rooms. He doesn't even like go into them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He just
Like-
goes 1, 2. Oh, she's not here.
Exactly. Like, Stefan runs upstairs. You can hear him like opening and closing doors. It's like, what a bitch ass little look around, you know?
At least like vamp speed around. Like, I'd be more believable with that.
They don't have the special effects budget for that.
They wasted it all on the blood on the
Wait,
map thing.
they
like,
don't
a couple
have a
episodes back.
They don't have a special effects budget for just speeding up the video a little bit.
No, they don't. Absolutely
No.
not. Absolutely not. So
This is the CW when Supernatural was at its peak. They don't have the budget.
Isabel and Elena's mother-daughter road trip goes well, but it also goes to a really weird place.
Yeah.
Isabel takes Elena to her grave, like the weirdest mother-daughter bonding experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
For a second,
just-
you're like, "Oh, she's taking her to her grave." Is that like a sign, like, "Oh, like here's my grave, yours will be like right next to mine."
Here's mine, here's yours, here's John's. It's gonna be great.
For all time, forever. Like, oh shit, okay, bitch. But it honestly reminded Jordan. Do you remember when we talked about the gender inequality in the grave robbing industry?
Yeah.
I want to say it was like,
Fuck?
Brian, again, you don't listen to this podcast.
What?
If you
No,
don't
what
listen to
episode
the-
was that? Because now I want to know.
If you don't listen to the podcast, then you're gonna be confused.
It was season 1, episode. Let me check. I can
Oh,
find
was it the episode where they dug up the grave for
Yes.
Yeah.
they had to dig up
Um,
Giuseppe Salvatore's grave?
Yeah. It was that
yes.
episode.
Okay, great. I will go
It-
look that up. Thank you.
Was episode 7 of
Okay,
Afterbite,
great.
just called Smutty.
Okay.
Real
Good
high
name.
quality content.
Good name.
So Isabel gets a phone call though while they're at the grave, and Isabel learns that her part to play has been completed. So she takes off her daylight ring and bursts into flames in the middle of a graveyard.
That
And
was
I have to add in front of Elena.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
fuck.
And I was just like, excuse me? You brought your daughter to
didn't-
this grave and then you're just going to burn yourself alive in front of her?
Yeah, let's just say this is the third time Elena has had to watch a parent die in front of her. Like,
Traumatized.
the girl is like, how is she still like sane?
Elena, honey, we gonna get you some therapy. I swear to God.
And it only gets worse in the next episode.
Yeah. Elena, I swear to God, girl, we gonna get you some therapy.
And a nap.
And a nap. Mainly the therapy, though. The therapy is what's gonna help in the long run.
Yeah.
So, after this, she returns back to the Salvatore house, where the boys very casually just give her the house.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a good ass house.
It's
So
a good house. They just like pull up the deed and they're like, here, take it.
And my question is, how old do you need to be to sign for a deed? Can you just do that when you're like 16, 17? Is that just like oh yeah, you can do that. Like, that's fine.
He's 17 at this point in the show, but
17 legally is nothing.
Yes. Except here in
Yeah.
New York where it's like
That
the
is
age of
nothing.
consent, but it's still like
Quick, let me call up
nothing.
my lawyer real quick.
Like, here's... I think you could if you had a parent on it, but again, Elena rapidly gains and loses parents like it's a game of Russian roulette. She just has them and then she doesn't, and then it's very sad. So,
And they just die in front of her.
I don't think she can legally do this, but okay.
I don't know.
Doesn't seem correct to me to be able to
No.
give away the deed to your house to someone who's still in high school.
It absolutely is not. So, speaking of contracts and fine print, back at the Gilbert house, Jeremy is reading the fine print of the spells that Bonnie got and the like kind of pact that Bonnie made. Like he'd be a good little lawyer. And he learns that if Bonnie tries to do this crazy original killing thing, she's probably gonna die. So,
yeah.
Great news, folks. Bennett
Yeah.
Witch Flex Tape gonna be no longer pretty soon.
Yeah, that was like very shocking to hear that Bonnie was like, she got like the instructions from the witches and they were like, okay, great, if you use all this magic to kill Klaus, you gonna die. And she's like, bet, I got it.
She's like, bet, let's go, dude.
Like from the minute that Bonnie said, when Jeremy said, "What did they tell you?" and then she said, "Oh, nothing," I was like, Bonnie, you're lying. There's something you're keeping from us. And then when this came out, I was just like, so we have another character who now has an ability to sacrifice themselves so that everyone else lives. All right.
Bonnie and Elena really just out here trying to out-sacrifice each
Not
other.
only Bonnie and Elena, but also Stefan, okay? Everyone's out here trying to self-sacrifice to save everyone else. And
Damon's just vibing right there. Damon, pick up the slack. Self-sacrifice, buddy. Let's go.
Exactly. Everybody takes a turn, and then nobody dies.
It's truly telling that on this show, so many characters have been like, I'm willing to let myself get killed so that everyone else lives. And then it just makes Legacy's Den, Hope on Legacy's Den just makes so much sense. Where she's just
it's a good thing she's taking a nap.
Where she's like, I'm constantly willing and able to die for all you people.
And meanwhile, on the originals, Klaus is like, you're gonna die for me. So like, eh. It's a full circle.
Exactly. It's just a wild, like, spinning chore wheel of who's gonna self-sacrifice this week. So
just spin the wheel. Who is it this
Exactly.
week? Ah, Bonnie, you're fucked.
Sorry. So,
It always
Then we
lands
cut
on
to-
Bonnie.
it always does. Then we cut to a darkened street where Matt meets up with Sheriff Forbes and reveals that he was not compelled by Caroline.
Yikes.
And then you're like, I hate it here, I hate it here, I hate it here.
I hate it here so much. Here's
Basically,
the
the
thing.
work Caroline did is now undone to keep her
And-
mom safe and like, yeah.
And the wild part about it is that he didn't need to ask to be compelled by her. You know? If he knew that
No.
he wasn't going to forget anyway, what was the fucking point? He could have
I
just
think
been
to
like,
lure
no, I'm
Caroline
chill
on.
with it. Like, then she would have been way more trusting of him. But now, just,
Yeah,
like,
the
what
extra
was the point?
The extra step of making her compel him does make it hurt a little bit even more.
Ooh,
Yes,
a
Brian.
thought. A theory. Hi.
Ooh, I thought.
The theory is that maybe Liz didn't believe Matt at first and was like, Caroline's not a vampire. How dare you accuse my daughter of being a vampire? So Matt was like, bet, I'll prove it to you. And said, like, how can I not be compelled by a vampire or whatever? So the confirmation was him not being able to be compelled and Matt being like, yeah, she compelled me and told me everything.
But, let me counter your thought
What?
with another thought.
Ooh, I love countering.
Matt said when he got into the car, he's like, I drank the vervain stuff. Which means, either way, Sheriff Forbes knew that it wasn't gonna fucking work.
Never mind.
Do you
I
see?
counter my
Do you see
thoughts.
what I mean here?
No,
Like,
I do see what you mean.
like, what's the fucking point? You know it's not going to work anyway. Just don't make her do it.
Like,
Just wild.
like the insistence on doing that, even though he knew it wouldn't work, just makes it that much more unbearable that
He was,
this
like,
is
yelling at her.
happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like it's kind of
These-
like
Oh,
it's
Maddie
kind of
Blue
like
Eyes.
you could have just been like, oh, like you said, oh, I like, and like it's, I think it's because it's like a double lie. It's a double lie. Because like if Matt would have said, "Oh, I'm okay with it," but he really wasn't, that would have been just like one lie, and maybe he would have learned to like accept her or whatever. But the fact that he
Yeah.
gets her to compel her and then has to now act around her like everything is fine, he doesn't remember everything and he still loves her for who she is, that's like another lie on top of that, and it makes it that much worse.
He's made a weird double blind for himself, really. It's like really just weird. Anyway. So just so you know, the next few episodes for the plotline for Matt and Sheriff Forbes is that they're committing a conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
Just know that this goes through this episode and the next one as well, because we'll just kind of skip over to the next episode, but they are conspiring. John Gilbert is a fucking fuckhead, but for some reason, Elena's like, well, you're technically the only parent I have left. Which, the bar is the floor.
It's
the bar is the grave in which
hell.
your parents are buried
The
in.
bar is underground.
The bar is literally in your parents' grave. And you're like, well, Matt, well, you know, you're fine, I guess. Like, I guess you're good.
Oh my god. It's in your parents' grave, but you know what?
Beggars can't be choosers, I guess, except they absolutely can when it comes to who you decide your parent is.
I was like, Elena,
you can absolutely choose this one.
Elena was like, oh, you screw up everything, John. And I was like, yes, Elena, tell him. And then she said, I guess I need to be okay with like learning to like you or love you or something like that. And I was like, no, Elena, it's okay. You can be okay with hating him. That's fine. We don't mind
I feel like
that.
I'm the only one that like liked what Elena said, because it's like, maybe I can learn not to hate you. She's not saying like I don't like you. She's like saying like I like you. She's saying prove to me that I can't hate you anymore. Like,
but
step
also,
up.
You don't. I just think it's a flaw with Elena's character overall. She's too like kind.
How dare you?
She's too
kind.
Yeah,
she's
and
1000% too forgiving.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
I love Elena, but she's way too trusting of people.
So like, this is what I'm saying. This is just another instance of her being way too forgiving to people who have screwed her over time and time again.
And
Fair.
like, here's the other thing too, is this could have gone very differently. She could have been like, prove to me that you're better than what you are. But no, she's like, maybe I can learn to love what a fuck up you are. Like, don't put the onus on you, Elena. Make him sweat it out a little bit, bud.
Exactly.
Make him do it. Make him do the hard work. She's like, maybe I can learn to forgive. No, fuck you! You don't need to do anything here. Hi, my name's B, and I have a lot of trauma that I'm working through involving my own father, so...
Well, I'm lucky mine just died. Jesus Christ.
Every single week we bring up that we all had dad issues, and I would just like to say we need to stop. We can't keep bringing up our dad issues.
Maybe we can keep bringing it up as a beacon of hope, because, like, I'm working on it, you know? Maybe by the end of this podcast, when we reach the end of TVD, I'll finally be at peace with it. Maybe at the end of this podcast, I'll bring my dad.
Maybe by the end, I'll finally have picked up the phone and text back my father.
It'll be hard to kind of get in touch with my dad. I need, like, a Ouija board.
We'll do a seance for Brian's dad.
Yeah, we'll do a seance. Anyway, what happened after this?
Next, we go to the Salvatore house, where the boys literally say the words, "That makes Bonnie our secret weapon." Hey, Netflix description writers, you did it. You brought it around full circle, baby. Good job.
Gotta love it. They actually did their job for once.
But also in their scene, they were just like kind of staring at each other and like sipping. I don't know if it was alcohol or blood, but they're just
alcohol.
Oh, it's alcohol.
And it's just super weird and uncomfortable. Like, they just linger on that for too long.
Would you say it had the gay vibe?
No, it didn't. It was an uncomfortable vibe.
It was
Brian,
very uncomfortable.
listen.
What?
Jordan's right though. It was a weird scene in that this felt like a very early like first draft of this scene that they just never got around to fixing, you know?
Like, they
they're
needed
like,
more
well-
dialogue, and then they just didn't add more.
They were like, Bonnie is our secret weapon now, I think. And then they like look at each other and they like clink their glasses and then that's it. And you're like, did anything else happen here? Did I
Nah.
need to watch this happen?
Also, another thing, I love how they're like, Bonnie's our secret weapon now, and I'm like, she's always been your secret weapon. Let's be real.
I was gonna say, now? Don't put a time on here. Bonnie's just your secret weapon here, boys.
All the time.
Eternally and forevermore. So then we go to a murder apartment where Catherine's on the floor and Alaric's getting brainwashed. But surprise, surprise, surprise! It turns out that Klaus is now in Alaric's body. Whoa! That brings us right into our next episode, 18, The Last Dance, where Elena receives disturbing messages from Klaus, expecting him to show up at the 1960s decade dance. Damon and Alaric attend as chaperones. So, at the beginning of this episode, nobody else except for Catherine knows that Alaric is Klaus. So, Alaric, Klaus, we'll call him Klaus, but he is in Alaric's body, okay?
I wrote a note that says Alar Klaus, and I was like, that doesn't sound good.
It doesn't actually. You're correct. Thank you for telling us that
Klaus.
evil thing that you did. So
Alaric.
So Klaus makes Catherine stab herself in the leg repeatedly, and it's weird. Also, he has like a weird
things.
it's just girly things, y'all. Also, he has a weird tension with Catherine, and I don't like that shit at all.
Yeah, especially because he's in Alaric's body.
It is exceptionally weird.
Yeah.
Cut to the Salvatore house where Elena now owns a home. That's going to be really great for her credit score, you guys. I just want to say.
Oh, when I did
really
look it up,
her.
you can have a minor sign for the house for like inheritance purposes.
So, but she's not related to them.
Yeah.
Did they write a
They
will?
don't know.
Did Uncle Zach write a will?
They don't know what Zach Salvatore was up to.
So she's
And
just
Mr.
claiming
Henry-
to be his child?
Probably.
Hey, what the fuck?
But there's
Okay,
so
this
many
is just
questions.
literally what I got this off Harvard Law.
There's so
Hey,
many
Harvard
questions.
Law, you've raised more questions than you've answered here. Great for Elena's credit score, though. You know, she's
Yeah.
really getting a good start here on her credit, and I'm really happy for her. So, again, like I said, this episode, throughout the entire episode, Sheriff Forbes and Matt are trying to catch Caroline in conspiracy. So just there's a bunch of little short scenes with them there. That is what is happening.
One with Caroline dressed as Jackie O.
Yeah, love that for her.
Oh, they look
so
so
we-
cute. So it's
They
such a
do.
shame that what's
It's
going on
such a
is
shame that
going
Matt
on.
right now is being a fucking massive dick.
Yeah.
So
Well, don't worry. He was dressed as JFK. He'll probably get his mind blown pretty soon.
Me having to
Fucking
walk
damn
off the
it.
podcast. is not distance.
I'm so sorry. It literally hit my head and I just had to say it.
much like a bullet hit JFK's head.
Hey!
Okay.
We are not endorsing the assassination of JFK. Please do not.
Yeah, no, actually, as a podcast, let's officially endorse the assassination of JFK, because I feel like nobody else has done that.
Wait, was it John Wilkes Booth or was that Abraham Lincoln?
That was Abraham Lincoln.
Okay, Harvey Oswald. No, wait, no, Henry Oswald
Yeah.
or something.
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Lee Harvey Oswald. There we go.
I love how stupid this podcast is.
Gotta love the 1960s.
Okay.
Anyway, what happened after? Where were we?
Wait, okay, so we were just talking quickly about how Matt and Caroline looked very cute as Jackie O and JFK.
I mean,
Um
they look great.
and it's such a shame because Matt's being a dick the entire time. Um
Yep.
and when they were like, "Oh, there's a 60 dance going on," I was just like, "Another decades dance? Another one."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh
It's a reoccurring theme here in Mystic
I
Falls.
don't mind
it's
that
quite
it's a
often.
recurring theme. Is it a new school year?
No, it's still the same school year. Here's the thing. Okay, TVD timeline breakdown. Haha. They're still in their junior year of high school, so we're still season 1, season 2 takes place 2009 to 2010,
Okay.
kind of.
Okay, so
So
you're
this is their
telling me
spring
throughout their
semester.
you're telling me throughout their junior year of high school they had 2 decades
Yeah,
dances?
why not?
One in the fall, one in the spring.
That's
Yeah.
no, absolutely not. I will not allow.
Okay, so Mystic Falls, you can no longer do 2 decade dances anymore. I'm so sorry.
One a year, one a year. You can't have 2 of the same recurring themes. It gets boring, it gets old, it gets
Well, one
annoying.
was the 50s and now one's the
I
60s.
don't care. Guess what? I love the 60s, okay? When I was younger, I had like peace signs all over my room. I had like a lot of like 60s decorated stuff because I love the 60s. I don't care. You cannot have 2 of the same types of dances each year. That's boring and unoriginal. And who's on their student committee? Who's allowing this?
Caroline Forbes.
It's just Caroline.
Caroline?
It's Caroline Forbes. I dare you. Say something bad about Caroline Forbes now.
This is what I'll say about Caroline, all right? She's going through a lot. She's going through a lot. So maybe I'll allow it this time. But if it
Okay,
when
good,
it
you
happens
better.
again, I won't allow it because what is the excuse? Like, come up with a better theme. Come up with a new original theme. You can't do the same theme, like 2 of the same themes every single year. It gets boring, gets old, people get annoyed. I'm just saying the truth.
We're looking at you, season 3.
People are you, Jordan. I think you're the only person I've heard that's
Yeah.
like
Fuck
really.
the decade dances.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
fuck the decades dances. I enjoy the decades dances. I'm just saying it doesn't make sense that they have 2 a year. In my head,
It kind of does though, because a lot of fucking dances are just broken up by like, this is our winter formal, this is our spring formal.
yeah,
you
but
know?
but what
At least
I'm
there's
saying,
themes.
but I'm saying you can have multiple dances a year. Like I'm not saying anything against that. I'm saying why are both of the school dances for this year decade dances? Like
Because
I
they really got a
know the
lot
other
to
one.
burn through. They really thought it'd be fun to burn through all these decades before they get out of high school, but then they realized that they started off the kids already in high school, so they're like, shit, we need to do like 2 or 3 of these a year so that we can get 70s, 80s, and 90s all through there, you know? And then they're like, actually, let's fuck it. Let's go back to the 20s. Let's go back to the 30s. Like, let's fucking go. They're just doing so many fucking decade dances, they don't even know what year it is currently. And that's how they fucking like it.
I don't
We don't
like
have a
it.
lot of time left. Let's
Okay.
fucking go, okay?
All right, let's go.
The kids all go back to school. It goes about as well as you would think, with Klaus in Alaric's body trying to teach a history class, and it's fucking bad and weird. Also, the return of Dana, who delivers a startling message to Elena, and she's like, "Hey, somebody named Klaus asked for you to save him a dance." So horrifying.
Klaus is really creepy.
Yeah,
He is.
he is.
Dana also though does call his name stupid, which I love.
I agree.
Yes, Queen.
Not
Go
now,
off.
Dana.
No, actually, yes. Now, Dana, we
We
need to have
agree.
this conversation. We're about to say Klaus about 1,000,000 times over the course of this podcast. We need to say it's kind of dumb off the front here.
Birgit Klausen.
So, back at the Salvatore house after school, there's a war room meeting. Alaric walks in. If you remember, Klaus is in Alaric's body, so he just kind of like walks into the fucking house because he's not like a full vampire, I guess, even though he did do compulsion on Catherine earlier.
I was kind of
that was
confused
weird.
about the state of Alaric's body, and also
I'm very confused about the state of Alaric's body.
I was
I'm
just
concerned about
because
it.
I originally thought they had like drained all of his blood and kind of turned him into a like semi-vampire so that Klaus couldn't inhabit
Thank
his
you.
body.
Klaus.
Mhm.
And then he just walked through the door, so I was like, oh, so that's not correct. So what actually is going on? I'm very confused.
I think they're still trying to figure out all the rules here.
They're playing fast and loose with the rules that they don't even know exist, and that's
I mean,
fucking
must
weird.
we forget the fog and the bird?
That's true. This is probably going to be another fog and the bird type thing. So
Yeah.
now Klaus knows that Bonnie Bennett is their secret weapon.
That was secret for a while.
That was secret for all of 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So then we go to the decade dance. Alaric dances like a dorky dad. Love that for him. But also, is that how Klaus thinks dancing works?
Probably.
If I'm being honest, I couldn't even pay attention to Laura because I saw this kid doing like that peace sign dance behind him.
Yeah.
And he was like so mesmerizing.
There was a lot going on. Very visually chaotic scene. So the girls' outfits for this decade dance, the girls stay doing the most.
They did
Yes.
it. They did it.
The boys
to them.
are just there sometimes.
Except for Matt. Matt actually, I feel like Matt actually put a little bit of work into his costume.
Jeremy did a little bit too.
Jeremy did too, but Stefan just wore
wore a
like a suit with like a loose tie.
Yeah.
Hey, do you wanna talk about it, bud? So
meanwhile, Elena's like, I'm a hippie.
I love it.
Exactly.
That
Love
was the
it for
exact vibes I was going for as a child.
Hippie?
So
yeah.
So Damon and Alaric are chaperoning this dance. I do want you to know that these two should be considered authority figures at this dance. Damon dancing with high schoolers like a fucking creep.
God. Yeah. Yeah. And I always forget that Damon's the older brother because, again, he acts like he's a younger brother and he doesn't even look like the older brother, you know?
It's wild to me because in universe, everybody thinks Damon is like 22, 23 years old and let him chaperone a dance full of high schoolers and then he does shit like that.
Yeah. And just gets away with it.
Yeah.
And I hate it here. I hate it so much.
Yeah.
Jeremy gets jumped by a bunch of dudes who are compelled by Klaus.
I mean, that's normal.
He just gets like the shit beat out of him, but don't worry, Salvatore boys manage to save him a little bit. But then the Salvatore boys get bested by a bunch of these high schoolers who have vampire killing weapons, which is cool. Bonnie and Klaus have a showdown in the hallway, where Klaus reveals that he's in Alaric's body, but he just says, I am not Alaric, which, damn, power move, love that for you.
And then he much prefers the 20s.
And he much prefers the 20s with the jazz and the dancing, and honestly, yeah, man. 20s?
And don't worry.
Great.
That is a secret muscatool for later.
We're gonna drive that joke into the ground.
It's already
driven
into the ground.
It's already lower than Elena's parents in their grave. I'm about at the center of the earth right now.
Eventually, though, you'll come back around. It'll be funny again.
I'll be in China.
That's not how that works.
Okay.
So, Bonnie tries to bop Klaus Alaric a little bit. She doesn't manage to do much damage to him because he has a witchy protection spell from his dude Maddox. And
fuck Maddox.
Fuck Maddox lives, you know?
Yeah.
Damon, when confronted with the fact that shit's going really poorly, just says no. Which, okay.
I mean, that's how I handle situations now.
Okay. Thanks for that great insight, buddy. So, Damon learns that in order to do these spells, Bonnie will need to basically kill herself. Like 50-50 shot, she'll die trying to do this, right?
Yep.
Damon, though, is like, well, I can let Bonnie sacrifice herself, but not Elena, which is absolutely not a double standard and not something we need to look into at all. So,
no.
We'll have that present, we'll pick it up, we will put it directly back on the ground where we found it. I'm sure never to come back and bite us in the ass.
I will say though, because we're kind of glossing over this, but I did like this scene. When Damon and Bonnie are dancing, and Bonnie goes, "Careful, Damon. I might think people might start to think you actually care." And I'm like, Damon, caring
That doesn't
about Bonnie
sound
Bennett?
correct at all.
Also,
Bonnie
this
Bennett
discussion doesn't happen when they're dancing. This one happens much later.
Well, it was like when it was like earlier. Like,
Yeah.
it kind of ties back in. Like,
Yeah.
it's like trying to fit a square into a circle.
Yeah, which is basically trying to fit a square into a circle is basically everybody trying to like fit Damon's archaic-ass ideas about women into like a modern TV show in modern times.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't work out quite
Yeah.
well because he's a fuckface. Anyway, Bonnie has a hardcore showdown with Klaus, who is in Alaric's body. So there's sparks flying everywhere. There's shit's going down. Shit's
Bones
flying
breaking.
all over the place. Bones are breaking. It's
Blood
a
is
wild
spewing
time.
from the nose.
Just absolutely gushing. And Bonnie uses up all of her energy and dies.
And it's pretty heartbreaking to watch.
It's real fucking
remember
heartbreaking to watch.
the first, because I watched it live, obviously, because I'm that
Yes,
fan.
we know that you watched it live. Yes.
No. I remember literally going, no, this is not fucking happening. This is not fucking happening. And my mom proceeding to yell at me down the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
Love that for you. Love
because
that energy that your mom brought, you know?
I legitimately thought Bonnie was dead. I was like, this cannot be happening. This is not how Bonnie goes out.
Exactly. This would be such a shitty way for Bonnie to die.
But also, it didn't make any sense for her to die right then and there because of the fact that they all knew that if Alaric was killed by Bonnie, Klaus could just
find a new body.
He could just find a new body.
Yeah.
But also watching Elena break down.
That was genuinely horrifying. Nina Dobrev, you're so fucking good.
Yeah.
I loved how she was just like, she's like, no, she's fine. And then Stefan's like, no, But I also loved how Damon came in, and I know it's bad how he came in. We need to deal with the body, and how Elena reacted and going, this is Bonnie. Like,
I know.
I just
so
love
good.
it.
Nina Dobrev, you're so good.
I just loved how she was like, Bonnie's not another cover-up. Bonnie doesn't deserve to be a cover-up.
Mm-hmm.
Love that for her.
Elena really cares about Bonnie, and I will die on that shit.
Friend.
Best fucking friends. Bonnie and Elena writes.
Also, I do want you to know that as we were talking about Bonnie's death, Pixel jumped up onto my computer like she could sense that I was sad.
Aww.
Like, I love this little cat. And now
Love
she's
her too.
leaving.
Okay.
Bye, Pixel. Love that for you.
Bye.
So, back at the Salvatore house much later, Damon, Stefan and Elena go back to the Salvatore house first, and then Damon joins them a little bit later. And Elena slaps Damon.
It was a good slap.
Loved
good
it.
Slap.
It's what she deserves.
Yeah, exactly.
I loved it.
She has earned this.
Another thing I loved is when she stood up, she put her hand back. Like, I know it's like a little small thing, because she knew Stefan was going to try and stop her from doing something stupid, and she's like, I need to fuck him up.
And Stefan, being the good boyfriend he is, was like, all right, baby, I'll hold your flower, you fuck him up. Go, sweetheart. I'll hold your purse. So,
I just love that slap, though.
Really good.
It's such a good slap. It's very cathartic.
It really was.
So, but then we learn Bonnie's not dead, folks.
What?
She just put herself in a witch coma just so that Klaus would think that she was dead, and so
she's dead.
She could come back later and be surprising. So, Bonnie's back, and she's in the basement of the witch house, and Jeremy comes down to join her, and they're cute. But I also do want to point in on a discussion that the boys have before we cut over entirely to the witch house basement.
Okay.
Damon says some real dumb shit. which I know it happens a lot, but we do just need to talk about it. So Damon's always like, well, somebody needs to make the fucking decisions while you're too busy worrying about collateral damage, which, Damon, if you're making a decision without thinking about collateral damage, you're not really making a good fucking decision now, are you, son?
It reminds me of the dialogue he had last week when we were talking about the last 2 episodes. I don't remember which episode it was, but he said something along the line, there's no bad ideas, there's only
poorly executed awesome ones.
Exactly. Same type of thing going on.
And he also tells Stefan, he's like, yeah, well, whatever you're fucking out here worrying about collateral damage, I'll be the one keeping Elena alive. Which, it's not a fucking competition, buddy.
Exactly.
It's a team sport.
They gotta give the Delenas what they want.
God, and they fucking do, and they will continue to do so, and God, I hate it so much. But, like, it's just such a wildly toxic masculinity, like...
Yeah, it's so toxic.
Incredible, like, to your own fucking brother, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not gonna worry about collateral damage. People will die, that's fine. But, like, hey, you know that collateral damage means more consequences, which means more problems you'll have to, like, figure out later? Hey.
Yeah.
Did anybody realize?
Yeah.
What?
Just me? Just Stefan? No? Okay, fine. Fuck it. Like, Jesus Christ. It's such just, like, wild, rampant, toxic masculinity.
And again, I said it before, I'll say it again. Damon is just, like, super selfish. That's just, like, one personality trait. And I don't know if we'll ever see him get past that. But, like, his selfishness causes him to, like, be this way. And it's, like, super annoying.
I will say, there will come a time when Damon does do something very, very not in his best interest. And it's gonna be a while.
Yeah. So, remember what I said, start of season 2, where they're starting that big whole rehab program for him?
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a
You
while.
forgot to check in.
It's gonna be a while. So... God, it's just fucking... Listen, I think the reason I don't like is I take problems with both elements of Elena's character and elements of Damon's character. Like, they have characteristics that I take problems with in, like, the very same way, right? Elena is much too, like, forgiving and trusting, and Damon is much, like, too unforgiving and too untrusting.
Mm-hmm.
And I take problems with both of those character, like, the way that they interact with the world for similar reasons, because it's just, like, fucking exhausting to try and, like, yeah, okay, I get it, you're gonna make a bad decision, you're not gonna give a shit about people getting hurt, okay, let's move on, let's see some genuine growth. But we don't see fucking growth at all for, like, ever.
Yeah.
And it's just, like,
it's frustrating.
I'm willing to watch a slow burn, or I'm willing to watch characters grow organically over time. But you gotta throw me a fucking life raft while I'm back here swimming behind the Titanic, you know?
Yeah.
Like, throw me a fucking life ring.
Yeah. And,
it's, like, just fucking exhausting.
And I feel like also the reason why it's annoying is because you see that they can do it in such a good way when they do it with Caroline, you know, over the course of season 1 and season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
then, 100%.
But then they're just, like, taking forever with these other characters, and you're just like, why are you doing that? We see that you can do that efficiently and in a good manner. Like, just do it.
Yeah. It's just weird because the thing is, sorry to interrupt, but, like, the thing is, Damon has the ability to be such a great complex character, but yet he doesn't.
Exactly. They're just like, hey, we showed you for a split second that he has depth and the opportunity for growth. Will he be taking either of those things? No. Fuck you. So, just exhausting. And not even in, like, a fun kind of exhausting way where you see somebody growing and, like, fucking up, but, like, trying to grow a little bit each time. This is him fucking up repeatedly and not trying to grow or take any lessons from it. Anyway, we cut to the witch house where Jeremy has AT&T, my fi.
Oh my gosh, this ad placement is amazing. And the first
It was literally, I hated it when it first started. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
I love it. It's one of my favorite ad placements that they've done. And when I saw that, I was like, we as a podcast should all go and get some MiFi so we can do the podcast from wherever we want.
I don't think they do it anymore. I don't think MiFi is a thing anymore.
MiFi is definitely not a thing anymore. I googled it. It's definitely not a thing.
Rip.
Ah,
So-
dang it.
Rip.
This brings me back to my theory that the episodes of TVD with product placement in them might be the best episodes of TVD. I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
Yeah.
No.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
y'all. So Bonnie and Elena get to have a chat via video because, you know,
On some very good webcams.
Yeah,
some
so
exceptionally good webcams.
For a 2011 hang on, let me do that again.
Mhm.
On a 2011 laptop.
Yeah, and they, boy howdy, do they look like they're from 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They have Windows XP on them.
It's wild. Okay, so the other thing here is that Elena goes to apologize to Damon
And that's when I
for
was like,
whatever
are you
fucking
kidding me?
reason.
Are you kidding me, Elena? Why? There was no reason
She
to
says-
apologize.
She says the words, "I shouldn't have hit you."
And I'm
No,
like,
you were well within your right to
exactly.
slap a bitch.
no, you had the right to hit him.
Even I don't agree with Elena in that moment. I was like, Elena, you had every right to slap him. You should have
And
hit him harder.
And then Damon says, if it comes down to you and the witch again, I'll gladly let Bonnie die. Elena, hit him again.
Exactly.
Hit him harder.
Exactly.
I
Just
will
like,
say though,
Fucking for real, dude? Like, you can think that. That's fine. But don't just say it.
Yeah.
I have a lot of thoughts that I should not say out loud, and I do not say out loud. So I don't.
I will say though, that line will definitely have a bigger meaning down the road. And it's farther down the road.
Yeah, like 4
But, like-
seasons down the road.
I know, but like it's still a good like development.
If it takes
That's it.
4
That's all I got.
seasons, it's not a good development.
I mean, wait till you see season
Civilizations
6.
rise and fall in the time that it takes Damon Salvatore to become less of a fucking dick. The dinosaurs were here and they have left because it took that goddamn long for Damon to be such a fucking not a dick.
Oh my god.
So, Elena goes running off through the Salvatore house, and where is she going? Well,
To get her DoorDash.
to get her DoorDash, folks. We're sponsored this week by DoorDash. No,
I
we're not
wish.
sponsored by DoorDash.
I wish.
She's off to read her audible book.
Audible, dude, not audible.
Audible.
It's okay.
Audible.
She actually is going downstairs to the murder basement to get Elijah. The last shot of this episode is her pulling the dagger out of Elijah's chest and just sitting there and waiting for him to wake up.
When I saw that, I was like, is that Elena really? I was like, it might be Catherine, but also if it's Elena, why are you doing that?
I will say though, the first time I watched this, I legitimately thought that was Catherine. Because it just did not look like Elena to me. And I was like, nope, that's Catherine. So that just goes to show like how much the show has made me not trust any scene Nina Dobrev is in.
Exactly.
Because I'm like, is it Catherine? Is it Elena? What are we doing now?
Exactly.
So good.
It's tragic.
Jordan, what are you ranking episode 217, Know Thy Enemy? What are you ranking it?
Okay, these 2 episodes, I enjoy them so much. So much. For episode 17, there's so much like I said before, secret plotting that I really enjoy. Because then you're just
Mhm.
like trying to like follow the plans and like see what works out and what doesn't work out, which I really enjoy as the premise of an episode. I'm just gonna get straight to it. I just really enjoyed this episode. I liked all the elements of it. I don't think there was really anything that put me off of the episode that made me really annoyed, and it was like very interesting. So I think I might give it. Hold on. And what was the cliffhanger
Hold
for
on.
this episode? Oh yeah, a lot.
Brave, Katarina.
Yeah, it was a
Mhm.
lot. Yeah, I might give this a 10.
Oh, shit!
Yeah,
I
Okay, I'm shocked.
I just really enjoyed this episode. I liked a lot of elements of it. I was really intrigued by it, and it had like a really good cliffhanger. Like it even started off strong with Isabel being there in the beginning.
Mhm.
I'm legitimately shocked.
I think this is my first 10, but I think I would give this episode a
No,
10.
this is your second 10 this
Second
season,
10?
actually.
Okay, second 10,
Your
yeah.
first one was Masquerade, which is the bar now that we have to hit to get a 10. It's a Masquerade 207.
Yeah.
So every 10 episodes, they're hitting that 10 mark, huh?
Yeah.
Love that for them.
Unless it's me. Then I'm
Unless
like
it's
10,
Brian,
10, 10,
then
10,
it's
10.
also on
I'm
Katarina.
throwing 10s like
and...
I'm at a... Nope, I'm not finishing that one.
You don't finish that sentence. What are you ranking it, though? Tell me what you're ranking this episode, Bri.
We're gonna actually have a switch up on this one, I think.
Oh?
I love this episode. I love it. It's one of my favorites of the season. It's like, because it, like, it's one of my favorites because how it fits into the plot.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely not one of my, like, hands down, this is the one episode, like, I gotta watch.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still going high.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going 9.5.
All right.
9.5.
9.5. Because I still think there was, like, some room for improvement. Like, little teeny tiny things. Like, I wish there was more, like, Isabel and Elena stuff, like, more of that.
Mm-hmm. More mother-daughter
Because I
bonding.
kind of wish Elena got to kind of have that closure with her.
Mm-hmm.
And not, like, have John be like, she didn't want to give you up. I really kind of wish Isabel said that to her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I really wish Elaine had gotten more closure than her mother burning to death in front of her in a cemetery.
Yeah, that was insane.
Yeah, that was... Oh, but I still love that, though. Like, that's just... Oh.
Oh, this... Know Thy Enemy was pretty fucking good.
I thought you were about to say a 3, and I was like, damn.
I don't think she
No.
would give it a 3.
Not this one, no. I am gonna give this one... Oh... Damn, this was a good one, though. Now that I'm looking back at it, like, damn, this episode kind of slapped. I am gonna give it a 9.5 as well.
Yay!
Because it is real good. I don't know if it's Masquerade level good, but it was really fucking good. So... Let's go to Jordan. What are you ranking episode 218, The Last Dance?
Also a very good episode, despite the fact that it's another Decades Dance in the same school year.
You're the only person in the world who's like, that sucks.
I don't think it sucks. I think
dance.
it's just like, if you're gonna have another dance throughout the school year, don't make it the same theme. All right, make it a different one.
It isn't the same theme. It's a different decade.
No, not good enough. The whole Matt and Sheriff Forbes felt like kind of like useless because they didn't really do anything, and it also really annoyed me because every time I saw Matt, I was like, I wanted to say, oh, look at him and Caroline, they're so cute, but then I was like, Matt's like being a manipulative dick right now, so I can't even say that. And what else happened? We had the whole like Bonnie and Alaric slash Klaus. That's how you say his name, right?
Klaus, yep.
We had them
Yes.
having their little fight showdown near the end of the episode. I don't know if I really I enjoyed watching this episode, but I don't know if I loved it. You know what I mean? Like it was like a good episode, but not like amazing. Like I feel like, especially with the previous episode, like it had like a real lot of good like plots and interesting things going on in it, but it also like had like a lot of like good character use. While with this episode, it was still interesting, but some characters, like I just said, weren't used as well as they could have. Like they were kind of pointless being there. And I don't necessarily know if it moved anything forward other than the fact that Klaus now thinks that Bonnie is dead. And Bonnie is like super powerful now. Yeah, I don't know if
As she should.
I don't think it's like okay enough to be a 7, so I'll give it an 8.
Jeez, you're going lower than I thought you would on that one. Brian, what are you ranking this
Yeah,
one
me
before I
too.
give my rating? What are you ranking it?
What?
What are you ranking?
Me? Hi.
Yeah, you.
The
Other co-host of this podcast.
Pixel, come on down.
The order that we literally always do this in. It always goes Jordan, Brian, B.
I literally had like a moment of stupidity there, as always. We're going opposite of the spectrum here. I'm going 10.
Oh, you're going 10 with this one? Okay.
I'm going 10 with this one. It's one of those episodes that, because again, I'm rating all these of how when I first watched them.
Yes.
And I'm like, and it's hard to remember, because it's hard to remember like how I felt then. But this episode, I genuinely remember the emotions, the roller coaster that I literally went on with thinking Bonnie was dead. And it was one of my favorite plot twists that Vampire Diaries has done. Also, I loved, and I hate to say it, the devil's name, Matt Davis as Klaus. He did do really well with it.
He did play
really
a very like distinctly different from Alaric.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was nice to see a character that like see the face of a character that we know and love play someone we're supposed to hate.
Yeah.
And I loved that. And I also just loved, again, Nina's acting, just iconic, amazing. And just Bonnie like full on going like, I'm gonna kick ass, and like charging headfirst into the battle, like, and then Damon being the reasonable one, like, you're gonna die? Okay, let's think about that for a second.
Yeah, I will say, I think the whole Bonnie dying and Nina's acting, I think maybe that bumps it up for me to like maybe like an 8.5. Like I think the acting in this episode was really good, so maybe I'll bump it up to like an 8.5. But I don't think it's higher than that.
Okay, I am gonna give The Last Dance. No.
With a 1 in front of it.
It was really good though. It was really, really good though, is the thing too. Like, this is a good fucking episode because you know who Klaus is and nobody else knows who Klaus is, and so it's so much fun to see that. It's so much fun to know this information that the Mystic Falls gang does not know.
Mm-hmm.
So I am going to rank this. I'm going to give it another 9.5. Because I really like the gambit that Bonnie pulled off there. I really fucking like that. I also really like Elena hitting Damon, but it would have been a 10 if she had stuck to her guns and hit him harder, you know?
Yeah.
If she had not apologized for hitting him. If she had not apologized for hitting him, if he had been slightly less of a dick, like, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And now I get that that's like the way those characters are played, so I shouldn't be able to fault an episode for it, but fuck it. This is my podcast. I do what I want. So next week, we are going to be watching episodes 19 and 20, Klaus and The Last Day. So
a lot of last things happening.
A lot of Last Dance, Last Day, As I Lay Dying, Sun Rising for the last time. Like, we're getting fucking down to it, y'all. This is gonna be the penultimate episode before the finale ep. So
I definitely will say these episodes, the last 4, I'm just telling y'all now, I'm gonna rate them high, because these are the ones that I remember. This is what really cemented season 2 as like top my second favorite season, because now it's changed, because season 2 is my favorite, is like second favorite season, but these episodes, like where they're all facing off against Klaus, oh, I love it.
Now that Klaus is here, now that I think The Last Dance did a really good job of like, this motherfucker, this episode is gonna fucking catapult us into just so going fast and furious here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a good, The Last Dance, I think, felt really like, oh shit, you like felt it was building, you know? You could feel, you're like, okay, this first initial battle is not over. This is not the end. This is going to get better and better and better and better and better. And I think The Last Dance did a really good job of building that tension. And now that Klaus is here and we know who he is, we know that he's Alaric for now. We also know that he's probably not going to be Alaric forever. It's just fucking good.
It's gonna be intense. And Jordan, because me and B, obviously, we know what's going to happen. Jordan, you are not prepared for what's going to go down.
I mean, I feel like I wasn't even prepared for what happened in these last 2 episodes.
No, you are going to literally, there's going to be, I think the next episode is like the ultimate.
There's going to be a lot going on. There's going to be a lot. So while we all mentally prepare for that, you all can add us on Twitter at Afterbite Pod. Follow us. We'll update you as we're going along. Also, if you're watching along with us, send us some stuff about us. Send us fucking memes or your favorite quotes from the episodes or what the fuck ever. And if you want to yell at us, you can do so at anchor.fm/Afterbite. We are everywhere as Afterbite or Afterbite Pod. So give us a follow, give us a like, and give us a review on Apple Podcasts. It really does help us out a lot. Give me that 5-star rating. It makes my soul very happy. It makes my brain make the happy chemicals, and that's sometimes really hard. So thanks for providing my only source of serotonin. This is bad because the internet should not do that to you. But if you're here to tell me about my unhealthy coping mechanisms, I know. Join us next week. New episodes are every Friday. Until then, stay inside, stay safe, and wash your fucking hands.